Mr. Aleksandar Rakic, how are you, sir?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Feeling
Uh,
good.
Thank you so much for joining me. You're 13-2 overall in your mixed martial arts journey, 5-1 in the UFC, ranked number 4 in the entire world, set to take on the number 2 ranked Thiago Santos at UFC 259 on March 6th. Now, this is your second fight during the COVID era. Have you gotten used to having a fight camp when everything's all weird and the pandemic's going on and everything? Is it normal at all in any way?
Uh, you know, I'm getting used to a little bit, but everything what you want to do, it's a little bit harder right now. I'm doing the camp in Croatia. It's about me and my one of three of my coaches are living in Austria, so we need to cross the borders to Croatia. It's just a 4 hours drive, but you need the test. You need to plan everything. We flew in another coach from Sweden. Then he doesn't need a test. Then here. It's a lockdown, but no, it was a lockdown. But for pro fighters, they're available to train. So everything. It's a little bit harder. Also, to go to fly to the US, you need the extra security thing, But we do it the best, And I have a great camp. Like my last, we're pushing a lot. We push the coaches and the guys pushing me a lot, and basically a camp is a camp, and every camp it's the hardest one. So this is my hardest camp so far.
Well, your hard work is definitely showing up in the cage. You completely dominated Anthony Smith in your last fight, and you dominated him everywhere. I mean, the stand-up, the wrestling, you were dropping him with leg kicks. You have so much variety with your techniques, with your striking, particularly the way you combo off of your rear uppercut. You knocked out Jimmy Manua with it was a rear uppercut to lead head kick, and I'm just like, who does that? It's so hard. For one, just the technical side of it, and then two, just having the physical coordination to be able to link off a rear uppercut. You never see that. So what is it about that rear uppercut for you that just makes it such a tool to build off of?
I mean, let's start with the kickboxing thing. Yeah, I've been training stand-up and kickboxing more than 16 years. I started as a kid. Wow. With 13 years old, and the first thing what I started was with kickboxing light contact. And in light contact kickboxing, in some moves are different than in full contact or in boxing. You throwing things like a front foot head kick with no switching stance, if you know what I mean. So or this kind of like this, and this follows me, through my whole career, and sometimes I put those things from the last years in, because those guys is not getting used to this. And also in the wrestling part, and I try really to be the most all-rounded fighter in the roast in the light heavyweight division, because you say now I dominate Smith on the ground. Yes, he's a legit black belt, and in the interviews before the fight, he called me like a one-dimensional fighter, and this I took a little bit personally. So that's the reason I smash him on the ground, because I want to prove not to him, only to the guys, that I'm an all-rounded fighter. I've been working on my wrestling, on my grappling a lot, and I'm training with high-level wrestlers and a high-level wrestling coach and a lot of BJJ black belts. So yeah, I'm for me it's important to put a great performance and to be good everywhere, not in the striking. Yes, my striking is my base, and I'm coming from striking, but man, I felt in love with grappling and wrestling, and I've been doing this more than 10 years now, and I feel comfortable everywhere where the fight goes.
Yeah, even in your fight with Justin Ledet, it was there. I mean, you were grinding on him. I mean, you look like you'd been wrestling your whole life, and that seemed to only open up the stand-up even more. But But something I have to ask you about, I'm not sure if there's anyone more qualified than you to ask or talk about with this, but leg kicks, particularly calf kicks, lower below the knee kicks. You throw them from both stances, effective. You dropped Anthony Smith, like we said, with them. They're ferocious and they're so hard to deal with. And they're really revolutionizing the sport of MMA. Like before, we didn't really see them. And now look at the Conor McGregor fight. Dustin Poirier took him out with them. It's just, and even you know what it's all about, but you've also been on the receiving end. In your Volkan Ozdemir fight, you had some pretty severe swelling below the knee, but you were able to push through that, which we rarely see also. So I have to ask, what is it about kicking the calf that is so effective and so damaging?
The calf kicks is something, I would say, something new in the UFC or in an MMA game. You know, it's like kicking below the knee and kicking the calf. Sometimes you hit a nerve because there's a lot of nerves, and sometimes you kick the nerve and you don't feel your foot. You know, you don't feel you know the nerves. You hit the nerves and you don't feel the steps. You know, and some guys in some fights, they want to walk but they couldn't. You know, they stopped them. And for me, it's the calf kicks is only to open up the game. You know, to make the guy slower, to pick him apart. You know, I'm not I'm training calf kicks, but I'm not 100% focusing on this. You know, because it's just the opening. You know, and I'm believing Santos is watched my fights and he's also getting ready to check my calf kicks and low kicks. But it's just one more tool in my game. But I have a lot of tools what I didn't show in the fights, you know. And after every fight, I'm getting better and better, and I'm working a lot on every detail of the fight: the kicking range, the boxing range, the angles, the movement, the reaction. You know, as an MMA fighter, you need to work those small details, and if you put all together, you know, it's gonna be a big result. But yeah, calf kicks are very dangerous, you know. And if you don't know how to deal with this and you don't know how to check those, it's gonna be a hard fight for those for the guy who get it, you know.
Well, let me.
In the Volkan Ozdemir fight,
How did you push through?
Yeah, in the Volkan Ozdemir fight, the kicks, I felt it, but you know, the swelling on my leg was not from not from a kick, a damage on the muscle. I had a vein in under my knee, and this vein I had for many years, you know. And this vein was looking outside, you know. And Volkan kicked on this vein. I'm guessing if he kicks 100 times, you're gonna miss 99 times. So he hit it right on the spot in the fight, and it's good for him. And he kicked on the vein, and the vein pops out, and the blood goes in. So that's the reason my legs swelled up. But after the fight, I fixed this. I went through a surgery. I took the vein out, so this never can happen again to me.
Wow.
And I basically the whole fight, I was good with the leg. I moved, you know. I didn't switch stances, nothing, because I didn't feel any pain or something like that.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. So you never have to worry about that ever happening again. That's ever. Smart. That's very cool. Very cool. Well, March 6th, UFC 259, the #2 guy in the world, Thiago Santos, he has a knockout win over the current champ, Jan Blachowicz. He fought John Jones to a split decision. Dangerous striker. He likes to switch stances also, throw spinning attacks. He will swing wildly, particularly with his left hook, but he's not really known for his grappling. And like we've just talked about, yes, you're a phenomenal striker also, but we've seen you out grapple opponents in the octagon before. So it seems like the path of least resistance here would be to wrestle Santos to the ground. I mean, do you agree with that? Or do you think it's worth the risk to keep it on the feet for any extended period of time?
This I'm going to decide in the fight. You know, we have a game plan, but, you know, you never cannot, it depends on the momentum, you know. I'm also a striker, and I'm dangerous in the stand up, and we know Santos is switching stances, and I brought also today came a southpaw, former Muay Thai world champion, and I'm gonna spar with him tomorrow. A southpaw. I have a good kickboxing guys, orthodox, and I'm getting ready for both stands. And I been, I know what to do. If he switch stances or not. In the grappling and the wrestling part, I see my chances, but I'm gonna I'm not gonna force the wrestling and the grappling, to just went to the fight and just to shoot a single or a double leg. We're gonna see what happens. I feel very comfortable on my feet. I know he's a dangerous striker, wild with wild hooks and kicks. Yeah, if
Well,
it comes to the clinch, I have my advantage, and I'm sure he learned his lesson after the last fight against Glover, and he's training wrestling and grappling more. And but we're gonna see on 6th of March if he develop his game, because I'm working on all my skills, and I'm working really a lot of wrestling and grappling with high level guys.
I know Santos isn't exactly known for his cardio. Tons of power, but not exactly the biggest gas tank in the world. And I don't think I've ever seen you tired. Do you train the same way for 3-round fights as you do for 5-rounders?
Uh, no, basically no. I'm if 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 we know I have a 5-round fight, if you know I have a 5-round fight, we of course we're gonna spar 5 to 6 rounds really hard. But now sometimes I spar only 4 rounds or not below than 3. But the funniest thing is, after my fight with Smith, I was so sure that I'm gonna get a main event fight, and I did like 1 month, like a rowing month. So I was rowing 3 times a week to build a base of condition to getting ready for a 5-round fight. Then I got an offer to fight Santos, and I didn't know if it's gonna be a 5-round or 3-round fight. In the beginning, they said it's gonna be 3, but maybe they're gonna change on 5. But then when they put Jan and Adesanya in the main event, and another one, like 3 fights, I knew I'm gonna fight three rounds. So at the beginning of the preparation, I went like for a 5-round fight, like putting a base on. But now, I'm training. I'm training really hard, and my coaches are pushing me, very hard every day, and I truly believe I can go 5 rounds right now, because I have the gas tank. And you can have the best technique, you can have the strongest punch in the world, but if you don't have the gas tank, you cannot use it.
Very
And
true.
yeah, that's the most important thing in the game.
Well, so the world is really weird right now, and God forbid something happens to where the main event falls through and they need an alternate. Would you be willing to fill in for the main event and step in and either compete against Jan for the title, or compete in just a regular 5-round, maybe even 3-round fight against Adesanya?
I would love to, but I was reading like Glover gonna be the backup fighter for the main event. So yeah, but if for example, Glover is out, and the main event guy, one of those guys is out, and Santos just lost his last fight against Glover, so I truly believe the UFC would pick me to ask. I would truly take. I would take the fight. Of course, if it's 5 rounds, I would take it. It's nothing best to fight for the title, for the world title. And I know I'm ready for them.
Let's talk about Glover for a second. So he's on a crazy streak, and in his last fight, he submitted Thiago Santos. So he's definitely angling for that title shot. The main event, obviously, Adesanya is moving up in weight. He's the middleweight champ. He's fighting Jan. Do you feel like you have to come up with a spectacular finish over Santos if you want to leapfrog over Glover?
Yes, absolutely. Glover, man, he been fighting those young guys, and he's like 41. I think he's like a true legend, for the sport. And I feel, I'm so happy for him. He has some good. The last fight against Thiago was very very tough for him. He got dropped 2 or 3 times, I don't know, and then he was able to finish Thiago. You know, this can only do a guy with a lot of experience in the octagon. But I truly believe that I need to make a great performance against Thiago to earn the title shot, because Glover, you know, he's a #1 ranked guy in the world, and he has like a 4 or 5 win streak, and yeah, he deserved the title shot. But I guess if I put a great performance, they're gonna take me as a fight, as a title fight, because I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm young. I'm motivated, and I'm here to stay for long in the UFC and to be the champion there, and to be, you know, to defend the title many times.
Well, how do you see the main event playing out? Izzy, Jan, how do you think that fight is going to look, and who do you think is going to win?
Man, this I get this question almost every day, and I cannot say, you know, everybody, those are, both guys have their chances, so I would go 50-50, and I say, like, if the fight goes longer, I see Adesanya winning the fight, especially in the 4th or 5th round, because he's gonna be the lighter guy, maybe probably more cardio or picking his shots. But if it comes to the grappling and wrestling part, I see Jan the chances, because he's a very powerful guy, and he's from Poland, and Polish people, they're known for their toughness. You know, I was fighting one guy from Poland, and this was a very hard fight for me. So I would say in the beginning, Jan has his chances, and in the end, Adesanya. But I cannot pick one guy, because it's, for me, it's really 50-50, and I can't wait to see this fight.
Very fair. I can't wait either. Let's say Adesanya does win. Do you think that could potentially hold up the division and prolong your chances at getting a shot at the title?
Yeah, I mean, if Adesanya wins, and let's see what he decides. Maybe he don't want to defend the title, the light heavyweight title. He want to go back to middleweight. But I'm believing he want to defend the title. And if he defends the title, and if he need to face me, that would be perfect for myself, because Adesanya is undefeated. He's a middleweight champion. If he beats Jan, he's a double champ. So if he's fighting me and I beat him, you know, I take all his glory and all his legacy, and, you know, taking someone a 0 from his record, that means a lot, and I would love to be the first guy to beat him.
I really dig your attitude on that. I really do. Do you got any sponsors or people you'd like to give a special shout out to or a thank you to?
I mean, for first, I want to thank, you know, my family and my wife, you know, for all the support, and my coaches, all of my coaches, because going here to Croatia and leave their families, you know, alone at home, and being here for me, you know, it's you know, it's a big thing, you know, and we are all know for what we are doing this, but in this time where we live now, it's the most important thing in the world, and you cannot give back this time, you know. So I'm very thankful for all of my coaches, for being here with me. Of course, I have my sponsors, like supplement store Atom Body from Vienna, and supplement Noko, my sponsor Noko, and the Submitter Wear, where I get my clothes off, and those are guys believing in me, and you know, supporting me financially, and that helps me a lot in this moment right now.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for all the sacrifices you and all the other fighters and coaches and family members make, so you can go out there and you can put on shows and entertain everybody and make a living, and that's important. So I appreciate that. And man, number 4 guy is on your dinner plate. UFC 259, March 6th. Have fun out there.
Thank you. Appreciate it.